Good, thank you. Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, welcome everyone, and I'm happy to be with you again and to share some Harikatha and Krishna Katha, and who knows, maybe some Rama Katha could happen. Hari Vishnu Katha, Narayan Katha, Shiva Katha. Actually, I found something about Sadashiva. This will make Anandamayi Devi very happy, I think. I just came across so we can discuss that. We were going to have a mystery guest today, but then came the message that I'm sorry, but something else has come up. And so our mystery guest will be with us, Krishna willing, next Saturday. Very nice devotee. So we'll do some looking at and singing Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura's song from Kalyana, Kalpataru, and we will discuss, we'll see if there's some show and tell. Bhaktin Olga has something for us briefly. And now Arunodoy Sri, you're here with us, and I noted, it's already some weeks ago, but you asked a question in the chat, which we didn't respond to. So if you like, maybe we can discuss that. Let's see if you can remember what you wrote in the chat. As a reminder, it was when we had His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami with us. And what else? Yeah. Oh, there's so many things we can do. There's, of course, hermeneutics. Oh no, again. Yes, it's good for you. And it's, maybe it's an acquired taste, but it's all meant for getting more appreciation of Srila Prabhupada's books. And specifically, I want to look at an article written by the late Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, in which he shows in some detail how Srila Prabhupada follows previous acharyas by taking one verse, one purport, and looking at the commentaries of Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Prabhupada's purport. So let's hope we can get to that. And meanwhile, let's put that down and go here. Now that would be last week we discussed what did we discuss? Was it verse number 1? I mean, song number 1 of Upalabdhi. And this time we have song number 2. I hope that's correct. Yeah, I think so. Okay, here we go. Okay, so, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. This is song number 2, Upalabdhi. Anutapa-laksana-upalabdhi. Sadhu-sanga na Hoilo hoy. Gelo dina akarana, kori'artha uparjana, paramartha rohilo kothay. Alas, we're getting more lamentation, transcendental lamentation. Now I realize that all of my days had passed uselessly, for I never had the great fortune of associating with the devotees of the Lord. Artha uparjana, I guess, would be useless. Therefore, instead of hearing from them about the process of attaining the topmost goal of human life, I have wasted my time simply working hard for earning money. Gelo din akarana, kori'artha uparjana. Oh, no. Here, artha uparjana would be working for, to earn money. Artha, paramartha rohilo, kothay. Where did I remain, or where has remained paramartha, the highest purpose, the highest aim, or the highest gain? The word artha can mean money, and it can mean gain or benefit or value. So paramartha is the highest value. And sometimes it gets used in a slightly different way. Paramartha can mean higher meaning, because artha can mean meaning. Suvarna koriya tyaga. tuccha lostre anuraga, durbhagar to lakhan. Krsnetar shangakvari sadhu-jane prihari mada-garve kotanu jiban. This is such an unfortunate calamity. For I now consider that I have rejected pure gold, suvarna, koriya, tyaga, simply to become attached and devoted to a small clod of dirt, lostre, in a pile of dirt, a clump of dirt, anuraga, attached. In other words, in the translation, I have abandoned the bright-faced golden devotees of the Lord to associate with filthy, dirty persons who are averse to Krishna. Thus, in their company, I've passed my entire life dazed in madly intoxicated vanity. Dazed means not fully conscious. So let's see, we have tuccha lostre anurag durbhagar lakshana. Durbhaga, bhaga means fortune, durbhaga, bad fortune. This indeed, lakshana is the character, the quality. And I think this is where our translator has added a little purport. Abandoned the bright-faced golden devotees, suvarna, koriya, tyaga, and taken the filthy, dirty persons, their association. Krsnetar, Krishna, okay. Thus, in their company, I have passed my entire life. Krishna tar shanga kori, sadhu-jane prihari. Sadhu-jane, I wonder if that should be parihari. I think it must. Prihari doesn't sound right. Parihari. I've completely given up. Parihariya, sadhu-jane. The sadhus, the sadhu people. Mada-garve, kotonu, jivana. The life, jivana, is mada-garve, madly, this is what's translated as intoxication, mada-garve, kotonu, jivan. Kotonu here, I'm not sure. Third verse, bhakti-mudra-darasane, hasha koritam mone, batulata bulia tohai, je shabhata seshtagani, harayino chintamani, sheshe taha rohilo kothay. Whenever I saw someone decorated with the signs of a Vaishnava, like tilak, neck beads, and shika, etc., I would laugh at them within my mind, considering them to be completely insane. Okay, bhakti-mudra. Mudra can mean a stamp. So it's, you'll see some devotees use, for tilak, they use a stamp instead of using the finger to shape the tilak on the body. They like to use a stamp. That's a mudra. But here the translator is saying that this includes all the indications of a Vaishnava, tilak, neck beads, and shika. Now, technically speaking, the shika is not just Vaishnava. You'll find that it's completely standard. Yeah, Shaivites. I see it more as a kind of indicator of the Brahmin. I don't know. It's not something I've studied, so that's just a general comment. Another term for the ornaments, the decorations, the marks of a Vaishnava is chihna, C-I-H-N-A, chihna. And this is the word you'll find in Hari Bhakti Vilasa. So Bhakti-mudra-darasane, when seeing these marks of bhakti, hasya koritam mone, I was laughing, hasya koritam, I made laughing, mone, in my mind. Batulata bolia tahai, having said bolia, batulata, he is mad. Batulata, I believe it would be long A. Madness. Madness is tahai, is there. Regarding this attitude of mine to be the most highly cultured behavior, Sreshta ganiya, gani means counting, ganiya, having counted, Sreshta, the best, considering counting myself as the best. Jay Shabyata, I don't know. Harayinu Chintamani, I have thereby robbed myself, harayinu, of the transcendental association of those touchstone-like devotees, Chintamani. So now, in the end, Sheshe, in the end, I am wondering, where has all this nonsense led me to? Taha rohilo kothay. Kothay means where. That's a question word. Rohilo, remain. Taha, I think is like tasmat, therefore. Therefore, where do I remain in the end? Gyaner garima bole, bhakti-rupa su-sambale, upekino sharta pasarya, dushta jadashrita gyan, ebe holo antardan, karma-bhoge amoke rakya. On the strength of my material education, gyaner garima bale, bale is strength, I became puffed up and completely overlooked the most auspicious form of spiritual life, bhakti-rupa susambale, upekshinu, having neglected, or I neglected, which is available only by devotional service. Sva-artha, my own benefit, pasariya, I'm not sure. I became puffed up. Okay. Some uncertain words. Thus, I have completely steered clear of the ultimate goal of life. Okay. Dushta jada shrita gyan ebe holo antardan karma-bhoge amake rakiya. But now in my old age, all of this polluted material knowledge I worked so hard for is dwindling. Dushta means bad. Jada ashrita gyan. Ashrita, shelter. I don't know how this is working exactly. Antardan, it's dwindling, I believe that's what that is. For my memory is gradually fading away. Oh, okay. Gyan is memory, knowledge. Ebe holo antardan, it's fading. I think that's what that is. Just see how I am captured and tormented in enjoying the fruits of my previous material activities. So amake, karma-bhoge, my karma and bhoga, or previous karma, bhoga from previous karma. Rakiya, I remain. Ebe jodi sadhu-jane. Now comes the hope. Ebe jodi sadhu-jane kripa koriya durjane dina bhakti-mudra-darasane ta hoile anayase mukta hoje bhava pashe par hoy e shongshar sindhu. Now I have just one last hope. If only the devotees would be merciful to the sinful rogue. Durjane, sinful rogue. Kripa kori, e durjane. To be merciful to me, sinful rogue, by sprinkling me. Okay, so ebe jodi sadhu-sanga, if the sadhu-jana, the good sadhus, I mean the good people, the sadhus, give me their mercy, this sinful rogue. A rogue is a nice English word, a little bit old-fashioned, similar to rascal. Prabhupada liked to use the word rascal for, yeah, he said fools and rascals, and he said fool means rascal, like that. By sprinkling me with one drop from the Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, Dena bhakti-samudrer bindu. Okay, that's nice. Bindu means drop, and bhakti-samudrer, of the samudra, and this is the same as Sindhu, means ocean. So a drop from the ocean of bhakti, dena, to give. Then I will be satisfied. Ta hoile anayase, by the sweet influence of that single drop, I will instantly and effortlessly become liberated. Mukta hoje, from the strong grip of this material world. Bhava pashe. Pasha means binding, like a rope, pashu. And bhava with a short a means existence. So it kind of comes to mean the material life, material existence. And thus I will finally be able to cross over the ocean of nations. Par hoi e shongshar sindhu. Oh, he uses both words, samudra and sindhu. So sindhu means ocean, shongshar sindhu, the ocean of samsara. Which ocean of samsara? A samsara, this ocean of repeated birth and death. Par hoi, there will be crossing over, or there is crossing over. Okay, Hare Krishna, let's try to sing it. And I know there's a delay with this online system, but do feel free to sing along. That is to say, yeah, first line, first time maybe I lead and then, excuse me, you repeat if you like. Maybe I move this a little. Whoa, sorry. Sadhu-sanga na hoile hoi. Sadhu-sanga na hoilo hoi. Gelo dina akarana kori'artha uparjana paramartha rohilo kothay. Gelo dina akarana kori'artha uparjana paramartha rohilo kothay. Suvarna koriya tuccha lostre anuraga durbhagar lakana. Suvarna kori'artha tuccha lostre anuraga durbhagar lakana. Krsnetar sanga kori sadhu-jane prihari mada-garve jiva. Krsnetar sanga kori sadhu-jane prihari mada-garve jivana. Bhakti-mudra-darasane asya koritam manne batulata boli tohai. Bhakti-mudra-darasane asya koritam manne batulata boliya tohai. Jesha bhata shreshta gan harayinu chintamani Sheshetaha rohilo kothay Jesha bhakta shrishta gani Hari nu chintamani Sheshetaha rohilo kothay Gyane gara Gyane garima bale bhakti-rupa sushambale upekino sharta pasariya Gane garam bale bhakti-rupa sushambale upekino sharta pasariya Dushta jada shita gyan ebe hoilo antadan Dushta jada shita gyan ebe hoilo antadan karma-bhoge amakerakiya karma-bhoge amakerakiya Ebe jadi sadhu-jane kripa kori e jane dina bhakti samudra bindu Ebe jadi sadhu-jane kripa kori e jane dina bhakti samudra bindu Tahoile ana se mukta hoje baba pashe tahoile ana jase mukta hoje baba pashe ara hoy e par hoy e sangsara sindhu Par hoy e sangsar sindhu Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolum Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Go Hari Bo Hari Bo Go Hari Bo Nitai Go Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai.
Jai.
So he's lamenting for not having sadhu-sanga, for not taking advantage of sadhu-sanga, which means we should take advantage of sadhu-sanga. Oops. Okay. Now, before we proceed, I'm going to take a break and a 1-minute break. And while I'm doing that, you can talk to each other. You can admire my new background. See, I have new shelves, so you don't have to look at this funny angled roof. I'll be right back. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome again, all of you who have joined later. So, yeah, let's start out by seeing if anybody has a birthday today. Today, yesterday, sometime this last week. Any birthdays? We can celebrate a birthday. No birthdays. Next week. Anybody? No. Okay. Coming month. Don't be shy. No December children. Now, I need to hear from someone to make sure that I'm hearing, because right now I don't hear any sound.
We can hear you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, and I can hear you. Okay, I feel some reassurance now. All right, everyone's being shy about birthdays. What about show and tell? Anybody? Anything? Well, I know Olga has something to share, and she wanted me to translate for her. Are you there? Yes, Olga. You will, du musst, wie sagt man? You have to unmute. Den Mikrofon anschalten. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bad English or German? I can try to speak bad English.
As you like. You can try English. Why not? We won't laugh.
Hello, everyone. Hare Krishna. My name is Olya. I'm from Russia. Now I live in Austria with my husband and 4 children near Vienna in small village. And I want to share with you what I can say. I such long time name. I such long time name for my things what I do, my handmade things, and long years. I no idea how can I call my things. And as I receive book, Cow Care from our Guru Maharaj, this was like idea. Why not? I want to give this name Cow Care, and I ask you, Krishna Kshetra Swami, if you allow me, and our Guru Maharaj allowed me to give this name to my handmade things. And yes, and now it looks like, for example, I have some things what I sew for my son, and
yeah, Cow Care, joy.
This is label, and I want to get attention for Krishna, and here is handmade with Maha Mantra. And it's this big responsibility to do these things. And sure, I chant all time when I see something. This jacket, this jacket for my son, and this is dress for my daughter. And another dress too.
It's an example.
This is not only example, and I'm sure anybody who made something with handmade, it's sure it is with love. But I want to get
Bad connection. I think some connection problem is there, and it looks like it's on Olga's end. Anyway, let's hope she comes back. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Nope, I think not for now. Okay, that was a quick show and tell, very nice. Handmade things are made with love. And she has the label cow care for her clothing, which she's making for her children. She has lots of kids, 4 kids. There you are again.
Yes. Can I say something else?
Please.
And sure, first thing I sewed for Guru Maharaj, and interesting was that he received is in Radhashtami, and it was so wonderful for me that like Krishna smiled me and say yes, so like mercy from Radharani, and yes, it's small wonderful moment. And in same day I announced it in Instagram and say yes, now I sew all my thing for my Guru Maharaj and for Krishna and for our mother cow and mother Radharani.
So nice. We just got a message on chat from Madai Jivan saying that he got a first-class merino wool hat from you, and he's wearing it all the time. He likes it very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you doing this also as a small business? Are you selling clothes, or it's just for friends and family?
It's impossible now. It's only it was my hobby, but now it's a service to Krishna. No, it's not. Okay. It's impossible now.
Yes.
Because children are small and I do only what they need. And my children, my son said, I want to wear only what my mother do.
Wow. Just see that devotion. Vrindapati is also asking whether you make deity clothes.
No. My poor Gopal sit in one dress all time.
So maybe that's the next project for you.
Thank you. I will try.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nice. Actually, homemade, handmade things are the best, isn't it? We have so many. Yeah, everything is manufactured, which means It's a little what we say impersonal, even though it's all made by persons, but in a sort of anonymous way, which is unfortunate. I see we have Mahatmananda with us. He's hand making furniture. Mahatmananda, do you want to say something about making furniture, hand making furniture?
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Hey, Haribol. Hi, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm just cooking right now.
Oh, okay.
And this is Vishaka.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What was the question?
Well, because you are, as your profession, I know you are a carpenter. You make all kinds of things with wood, without all the, however many hundreds of hours you helped to make our little hideout there in Slovenia, it wouldn't be there. But I just thought maybe you can say a little something about just hand making work, making furniture by hand, personally using your hands, and your customers, they know you and they see your work and so on.
Well, don't laugh at my English also.
No problem.
It is my profession, and I like this. However, right now I have one professional problem, a little, how do you call this, a little hand disease.
Oh.
Because I was working too much with my hands. Right now I have a little, I don't find the word anyway. This is the negative part, but the positive part is it's you can do a lot of service because devotees always need some altars, kitchens, and other furniture. So I work only with devotees, mostly, not only, but
really?
Mostly, yeah. So it's nice to be always you can meditate on that while you're working on different deities who will take place in the altar. And like that, just recently I've made an altar for His Holiness Chandramauli Swami. That was very nice. And other services. I mean, this is practical service, but my mind is I have this kind of a mindset. So I cannot, I'm sorry,
well,
I'm not really a writer, and
no, that's we have whatever we have, and we use whatever we can in Krishna's service, and Krishna sees what's in the heart. That's the main thing. And your work is very much precision work. This is your quite a, we say, perfectionist in your work. So it becomes a real art. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Well, there is always someone better in this world. There is always so much people are better than you. I mean, me.
Yeah, that is always there. So that keeps us that keeps us humble, right?
Yes, whatever what are you doing, there's always someone better.
Yep. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Okay, I don't want to keep you from your cooking, but thank you for that. That's nice.
Thank you.
Okay, Haribol. Who else is making something by hand? Some sort of crafts work. craftsmanship. Anyone else making something? No. Okay.
Mataji Mandali is making clothing. She is expert in clothing, and Mataji Kaveri is painting.
Oh yes, yeah, of course they are indeed. Mandali is a fashion designer, and then making her fashions. And Kaveri, we've had she showing us sometimes some of her work. Are you with us today, Kaveri? If you would have some more recent work, you're welcome to show. Okay. Okay, then. Oh, it's already an hour gone. All right, before, oh wait, there's one more thing I have to check. Excuse me. Nope, not. Okay. All right, I think it's time to have a little reading about Lord Shiva from the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, because the question came up some weeks ago. Ananda Mayi, I don't even remember the context, but the question came up, what is this Sadhu-Shiva? And our Acharya Srila Rupa Goswami comes to the rescue with definitive explanation in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita. There's a Brihat Bhagavatamrita by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Brihat means great, and Laghu means light or small. And I don't know if they consulted with each other about the titles of their books, or if these terms, designations came later. But in any case, we have the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which has been nicely published by the BBT, the translation and commentary by the late His Grace Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu. And okay, so first we have a verse quoting, he quotes a verse from Brahma Samhita. Many of you will be familiar with this. Kshirangyata divikara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahitata pritagasti hetu yasambhutama pitata samapaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. It's this prayer to Lord Govinda, who is compared to milk, and Lord Shiva is compared to yogurt. Milk changes into yogurt when mixed with a yogurt culture. But actually it is constitutionally nothing but milk. Similarly, Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes the form of Lord Shiva. Yaha shambhutam api tata Similarly, tata means here similarly. Shambhutam, Shambhutam. Assumes the form of Lord Shiva or Shambhu for the special purpose of material transactions. Sanjayate nahi. Pritak asti heto karyat for purposes. Samupeti. Anyway, so, okay, so we have this analogy to understand Shiva, you can say in general. Now here's something interesting. It says, this is, I just read verse 29 of part 1, chapter 2, 29, and this is verse 30. Vidher lalata janmasya kadachit kamalapate kalagni rudra kalpante bhavet sankarshanat api. Sometimes Rudra is born from Brahma's forehead, lalatat. When we put on tilak, there's a mantra, lalate keshavam dhyayen narayana matore vakshastale madhavang tu govinda kanta kupake vishnu chadakshine kaksho bahucha madhusudanam trivikramam kandare tu vamanam vama parshake shridaram pamabahu tu rishikesham tu kantare prishte cha padmanabam cha katyam damadaram yatset tat prakshamana toyam tu vasudeveti murdhani. All the names of the Lord, expansions of the Lord placed on the body and where they are placed. So lalate, on the forehead. So here it says vidher lalatat janmasya, janma-asya. So sometimes Rudra appears from the forehead of vidha, of Brahma. Kadachit, sometimes. And sometimes he is born from Lord Kamalapati. Who is Kamalapati? Well, what means pati? Pati means Lord, and Kamala is a lotus, and this is one of the names of Lakshmi, Kamala, Kamalapati. So the Lord or the husband of goddess Lakshmi. So sometimes Rudra is born from Vishnu. At the end of Brahma's day, Kala Agni Rudra, the Rudra who generates the all-destructive fire of time, that's Kala Agni Rudra. Kalpante, at the end of the kalpa, Bhavet Sankarshanat api. Okay, again, at the end of Brahma's day, the Rudra who generates the all-destructive fire of time appears from Lord Sankarshan. Okay, so that's a little about his appearance. He's known as Rudra, incidentally, in the Rig Veda. There's no mention of Shiva, but there is mention of Rudra. And we understand from the Bhagavatam, Rudra takes 11 forms, or Lord Brahma manifests 11 forms of Rudra. Okay, now, verse 31, we come to Sada Shiva. Sada Shiva akya tanmurtis tamogandha vivarjita sarva karana bhuta sa vangabhuta svayam prabhu vayavyadishu saiveyam shivaloke pradarshita. The form called Sadashiva is completely free from any trace of the mode of ignorance. Tamo ganda vivarjita. Ganda means fragrance or odor. So tamaganda would mean the smell of the mode of ignorance, or it would have the sense of having a slight, like a slight smell of tamaguna. Vivarjita is completely rejected or is completely freed from. He is the cause of the entire material creation and is a personal expansion from the body of the original personality of Godhead. The Vayu Purana and other scriptures state that he resides in Shivaloka. Okay, so that's he's creating. It's Sadashiva who's responsible for this world where we are now. Where are we now? We're in Sadashivaloka. Is he affected by this mode of ignorance? No, it says here, not even a trace, not even a slight smell. And of course, the sense of smell can be very, very fine. We sense the presence of something foreign often by its smell. If it has a bad smell, if there's a little smell of gas in the kitchen, we're immediately concerned. Is the gas tank leaking or what? Gopi Paranadana Prabhu gives us a bit longer purport to this verse, and he's talking about vilasa and shvangsa expansions, jivas who become avesha, incarnations or avatars. And from the svangsha expansions lying on the Garbha ocean come Vishnu, Brahma, and Rudra. But then he says, but the latter two roles, that is Brahma and Rudra, are roles that are sometimes played by jivas. But then he says the plot thickens, there are other opinions. For example, it might be said that Lord Sadashiva is the original truth, that he alone deserves to be called Svayam Rupa, that Narayana and the others are his expansions, and that the three guna avatars are created by him, by Sadashiva. And then he quotes from the Kaivalya Upanishad. And I won't read the Sanskrit of that. 6 through 9. Yeah, then he quotes 4 verses praising I'll read one of these verses. I think it's interesting. It's about meditation on Sadashiva. Uma sahayam parameshvaram prabhum trilochanam nilakantam prashantam dhyatva munir gacchati bhuta yonim samasta sakshim tamasapparastat. by meditating on the peaceful, three-eyed, blue-throated Supreme Lord, accompanied by his consort, Uma, a sage attains him who is beyond the realm of ignorance and is the master of creation, the source of all created beings, and the witness of everything. So Sadashiva is being praised here basically as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has three eyes and he has a blue throat, and his consort is Uma. So of course, this is an ongoing debate in India. There are the Vaishnavas and there are the Shaivas. The Vaishnavas point to Vaishnava scriptures and say clearly Shiva is servant of Lord Vishnu, Narayan. And the Shaivas point to Shaiva literature that says clearly that Lord Narayan, Vishnu, is a servant of Lord Shiva. So then we may wonder, what should we think? Well, Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu helps us. He says, although these reliable and authoritative statements of Shruti, remember this was from Kaivalya Upanishad, seem to equate Lord Shiva with Lord Narayan, we need to understand these statements correctly. So this would be an example of the practice of hermeneutics, of interpreting or applying principles to determine what is the proper understanding of Shastra. He goes on to say, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana explains that these verses describe only Lord Narayana, the Vilasa expansion of Krishna, the original Godhead. Shiva is also a name of Narayana, and thus the two names are used interchangeably in the Maha-Narayana Upanishad 13.3. Shivam Achyutam Narayanam. Similarly, Uma is another name of Kirti, one of Lord Narayana's principal Shaktis. Then, since this passage describes the Lord of Vaikuntha and not the guna avatar of the material world, Nilakanta indicates, quote, one whose neck is adorned with a blue gem. And finally, Shivaloka should be understood as the Supreme Lord's abode, Vaikuntha. So here we are, our Baladev Vidyabhushana, a great Vaishnava, follower of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is saying, look again, don't think just because it's the name Shiva, that we're taking it that Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's really describing Narayana. And this point I find interesting that he says, after all, this passage is describing the Lord of Vaikuntha. It's not describing the Lord, it's not describing a guna avatar, which would be appropriate for Shiva in this world, who is having a blue throat. Why? Because he drinks the poison from the churning of the ocean of milk. So that would be the case, but that's not the case. Why is it not the case? Because we're talking about the Lord of Vaikuntha. So it cannot mean Shiva. It can't mean Shiva as blue-throated. It has to refer to the Lord of Vaikuntha, who is, yes, he's Nilakanta also. Does that mean he drank poison? No, that means he's wearing a blue ornament around his neck. Okay. It goes on. There's more. Niyati sa Rama Devi tat priya tat vashang tada ta lingam bhagavan shambhur jyoti rupa sanatana ya yoni sapara shakti iti adi. Again, this is from Brahma Samhita. And this would be, verse number 8. So it's in the beginning, it's before Lord Brahma's prayers, and he says, this explains the original form of Lord Shiva. Rama, quote, Rama Devi, the spiritual potency, beloved consort of the Supreme Lord, is the regulatrix of all entities. Now, the word regulatrix is just, I guess it's an old-fashioned English feminine form instead of regulator, which would be masculine. It's regulatrix, feminine. She is the regulatrix of all entities, the divine plenary portion of Krishna creates the mundane world. At creation, there appears a divine halo of the nature of his own subjective portion. Now, I can imagine this starts to get difficult to translate. My apologies. This halo, a halo is it's usually understood, it's like a glowing from the body, especially, I don't know, in Western, in Christian iconography, especially around the head, you'll see they'll paint a painting and it'll have a ring around the head, and that's called a halo. This halo is divine Shambhu. The masculine symbol or manifested emblem of the Supreme Lord. This halo is the dim twilight reflection of the supreme eternal effulgence. Very interesting. So there's the Lord's eternal effulgence. It's, it's of all things brilliant, there's nothing as brilliant as the effulgence of the Lord. Here it's saying that this halo, which is Shambhu, is a dim twilight reflection. Dim means not bright. It's faint. It's between light and dark. And twilight is an English word for the time of day after the sun has gone down and it's still light enough to see, and the stars are just starting to come out. That is called twilight. I guess it comes from two lights. I don't know, divided light. So this halo, Shambhu, is a dim twilight reflection of the supreme eternal effulgence. This masculine symbol is the subjective portion of divinity. whatever that means, who functions as progenitor. So he's a creator, he's reproducing, a progenitor of the mundane world, subject to the supreme regulatrix. And remember, in the beginning of this translation, it said Rama Devi is the supreme regulatrix. Who is Rama Devi? She is Lakshmi. She is the consort of the Supreme Lord. So it's saying Lord Shiva is under her. The conceiving potency in regard to mundane creation makes her appearance out of the supreme regulatrix. She is Maya, the limited, non-absolute potency, the symbol of mundane feminine productivity. That's quite dense. So it seems what's being said here is we can imagine an image, a diagram. On the top we have Narayana, together with the consort Rama Devi, as she's known in this context, Rama with a long A on the end, Rama Devi. And then at creation, it says, there appears a divine halo. So at the time of creation, there is this halo. It doesn't say that it's Narayan's halo, but or that it's directly emanating from, but it must be from Narayan. It's under Rama Devi. In any case, this halo equals, it is Shambhu. Shambhu is working under Rama Devi specifically. So we might want to make the diagram a little different. We have Narayana, under Narayana, we may want to say, or to the lower to the side, in a sense, is Rama Devi. Then there's this halo, who is Shambhu. And he uses this expression, subjective portion. And I'm not sure what's this translating. It's not indicated in the word for word, so I'm not quite sure. What it would be. This is I'm guessing this is a translation from, it sounds very much like the translation that's attributed to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura, but which one devotee has carefully established by detailed argument is not from him, but it's from one other devotee. I forget the name. Okay, so then there's Shiva as Shambhu. Subordinate to Shiva is Maya. And she is the symbol of mundane feminine productivity. So it is the female of any species producing or reproducing. Maya is representing or symbolizing that function. So it's talking about creation of the universe, and then creation of the creatures in the world. All of this is happening. So in that sense, Shambhu is sort of in the middle. There's Narayan, there's ultimately the living entities, the praja, and then above Maya and above Shiva. Okay, there is a longer purport to this, but I'm going to save that for another time. Okay, now I better check what's happening in the chat. Okay, and Andamai is asking, what is the connection between Shiva or Sadashiva, Advaitacharya, and Mahavishnu? Ah, yes, that is another question for which more research may be required. Advaitacharya, it's Advaitacharya who invokes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is calling him to this world. And he himself is referred to as Bhakta Avatar. He is the avatar of a Bhakta. And so my sense is that he's functioning as the Lord's servant, because there's pastimes where Advaitacharya makes Lord Chaitanya, who's much younger than him, angry so that he, Advaitacharya, can be subordinate and establish his position as servant. So in that mood, it may well be that he is Lord Shiva. In general, we can say, I don't know in general, but we see, for example, with these identities of Lord Chaitanya's associates, sometimes they'll have more than one. And so, for example, Ramananda Rai is identified as Arjuna, and he's also identified as Vishaka. Arjuna and Vishaka, how is that possible? It's in relation to their activity in relation to the Lord. So in the Ramananda Rai Samvad, Ramananda Samvad, the discussion with Ramananda, in the beginning of that discussion, this is my understanding, he is in the mood of Arjuna, because he's giving sort of basic Bhagavad Gita understanding of what is the goal of life, what is devotional service. And then Lord Chaitanya pushes him, and when he begins to speak about prema bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti, this is in a whole different mood. It's in the mood of Vishaka. So, like that. But we can see if there's some more information. Yeah, Avadhuta Raya is giving us Shiva expansions, Sankarshan Sada Shiva, Gunavatar Shiva, 11 Rudras, which you have, that's jivas, yes or no. And according to this explanation from Laghu Bhagavatamrita or from Gopi Paranadana Prabhu, sometimes Rudras can be jivas, not always. It seems Gunavatar Shiva is in the material universe, Sada Shiva is outside the universe. Yeah, I've not, it sounds right to me, but I don't want to say absolutely. And there can be different opinions. This complicates things. There can be amongst the acharyas different opinions on these details. And Bhaktin Ipek says, I find it a little unconvincing that Lord Narayan is referred to here instead of Shiva, because the verse we just read lists not one, but many attributes which all traditionally refer to Shiva, his throat, his consort, 3 eyes. So it's almost like giving an address of Shiva. Could we talk about why Baladevi Vidyabhushan's interpretation is convincing? Well, that's an interesting question. I don't think I can give a satisfying answer right now. One point to make, though, and this is, how to say, this is, there is a point at which one has to say, all right, I take this on faith that this is, in any case, this is spoken by our acharya, and I've decided to follow this line of acharyas. And so I may not get the full picture, and I may not be persuaded intellectually. At this point in time, however, it's quite possible that at another point in time, those details will be explained. I mentioned this some weeks ago in context of this verse from Prahlad Maharaj, which Srila Prabhupada read as a confirmation many, many years after he felt some doubt, seeing that his Guru Maharaj ordered for a snake to be killed. He was a little surprised. How is this? A sadhu is saying to kill a snake. And then how many years later, he saw in the Bhagavatam, Modeta sadhurapi vrishchika sarpa hatya. The sadhu is satisfied to see a snake or a scorpion killed. And then he understood that his guru was following Shastra. So I agree, it looks suspicious. It looks like it's stretched. At the same time, he does give some evidence, or he does give, he gives some Shastric evidence from Mahanarayana Upanishad, Shivam Achyutam Narayanam, which indicates that Narayana can be identified as Shiva. No doubt the Shaivite will take it the other way around. Shiva is identified as Narayana. And so there you go. And it reaches a point at which it seems to me that there's a point of diminishing return, we say in English. There's a point of diminishing return of significance. In other words, we understand for any number of reasons that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Rupa Goswami explains that specifically because it is Krishna who is Akila Rasamrita Murti, Prasrimara Ruchi Rudha Taraka Palihi. He is higher than Narayana because of Madhurya, Rasa, which is higher than Aishvarya. So he gives that explanation. And then from that point on, if you sort of accept that as an axiom, then everything else sort of unfolds from that axiom. So a lot of it depends on which axiom one takes to begin with. And that's why Srila Jiva Goswami dedicates the first of his 6 Sandarbhas in giving the reasons why he's taking the Srimad Bhagavatam as the final authority, the final praman, Shabda praman. The entire Tattva Sandarbha is on that subject. And when you come to that point, then from there you see everything through the understanding of the Bhagavatam. So I think that's what Baladevidya Bhushana is doing here. And whether he explains, is there a form of Narayan with 3 eyes, or, how to understand that 3 eyes, consort of Uma is, well, he does mention here, Uma is another name of Kirti, one of Lord Narayan's principal Shaktis. He doesn't seem to mention the 3 eyes. That's interesting. Ipek goes on, there was a verse in Kunti's prayers where Kunti was listing names and attributes of Krishna. In his lecture about the verse, Srila Prabhupada was saying, all this listing was done for the purpose that no one would get the person wrong. Doesn't the same principle also apply here? Okay, if I understand what you're saying that there are details given in this prayer that would suggest, okay, we know who we're talking about. We're talking about Shiva. We're not talking about Narayana because of the attributes being listed. It could be applied here. To which I would simply say that then the Vaishnavas understand, yes, in some sense, Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In some sense, he is functioning as the Supreme, and therefore it's appropriate to offer him prayers as the Supreme. And there are also prayers in the 4th canto to Lord Shiva by the demigods, praising him as the Supreme. And the commentators explain, actually, Lord Shiva is representing, in this case, Narayana. Rasodari Hari says also Gopi Arjuniya. Oh, I think you're referring to Ramananda Roy, yes. And we have an announcement from Vrindapati. Says, I've been to Mount Kailash in Tibet via Nepal. If anyone is interested, I have vlogged the journey on my YouTube channel. It is in 4 parts, about an hour worth of watching. And here's the link. Yeah, I want to watch that. Which means, one moment here. Excuse me, I just make a note. Okay. And Avadutta Rai says, the same offense to the holy name regarding Shiva and Krishna is interpreted in two ways. Uh-oh, now we're getting into it. In BB, I guess that means Brihad Bhagavatamrita. If non-difference is seen between them, it is an offense. The other interpretation is when difference is not seen, it is an offense. So in any way, whatever we think, we will make an offense. No. If we think in non-difference in the mood of service through Shiva to Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, there's no offense. And if we see difference and understand that difference as one of hierarchy in which Lord Krishna is superior, that's not offense. That's how I would take that. Is this all related to a new birth of a Vaishnava? I don't quite catch the context or the meaning of the question. Whether it's can be generalized what Lord Shiva does in relation to Chaitanya Maha or Advaitacharya. I've never read any such thing like that, but it might be interesting to consider. Okay. Yeah, it's been said that there are two tattvas which are especially mysterious. One is Shiva tattva, and the other is Guru tattva. So, okay. Well, the time always goes so quickly, and I wanted to do a bit of our hermeneutics. Let me see now. First, I need to share the screen, and I'm not sure I'm gonna know how to do that. Okay, here we go. Done. And then it's gonna be screen. Okay, then here. Okay, I won't repeat what we talked last time. Keami keneame jaritapatroy. That's kind of foundational question. I need to go to here. Okay. And we expand. There we go. Hope everyone sees this. Okay. So Gopi-Paranadhana Prabhu many years ago wrote an article in Back to Godhead to explain how Srila Prabhupada follows previous acharyas. And he does this by giving a specific illustration, taking this one verse and purport from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, verse 51. And this is within a chapter about, it's the story of King Puranjana. And King Puranjana dies. It's this allegory. King Puranjana is every man. And yeah, every man is meaning all of us, who suffers material life. And he, at the end of his unfortunate life, he dies and he becomes a woman in his next life, and he marries, and then he, who is now she, loses her husband, he dies, and then she is lamenting. And at this time appears an old forgotten friend. And here is the verse, Tatra Purvatara Kaschit Sakha Brahmana Atmavan Santvayam Valguna Samna Tam Aha Rudating Prabhu. My dear king, one Brahmana who was an old friend of King Puranjana came to that place and began to pacify the queen with sweet words. Somebody's microphone is on. Okay, so Prabhupada gives a fairly long purport to this verse. And before going into that purport, Gopi Pranadana Prabhu discusses first Sridhar Swami's commentary and then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's commentary. And first he explains a little about who is Sridhar Swami. Not much is known about him in terms of history. It's guessed that he's from the early 15th century, but he could be earlier. And it doesn't seem that he was a member, an official member of a Vaishnava school. Says he was probably an initiated member of Shankara's Advaita Sampradaya. Which is interesting because Sridhar Swami's commentary on the Bhagavatam is considered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as most authoritative. Now, if we had more time, I would go into this subject. You can read in Antilila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 7, starting around verse 113 and going through 130 something. Yeah, 136 maybe. Yeah, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking with Vallabhacharya and essentially correcting him because Vallabha seems to be not wanting to follow Sridhar Swami. Now there is one point, one phrase in verse 114 that I just noticed today, which I found very intriguing. Se Bhakya Koren Jahan Je Pare Ani Ekka Bhakyata Nahi Tate Swami Nahi Mani. This is Vallabhacharya speaking. He says, whatever Sridhar Swami reads, he explains according to the circumstances. Therefore, he is inconsistent in his explanations and cannot be accepted as an authority. This has very interesting implications, which I won't get into now, but the point here is that the Vaishnavas, despite his inconsistencies, accept him as authority, and specifically Srila Jiva Goswami accepts him as authority in his Shatsandarbhas. But he explains in the Tattva Sandarbha that sometimes, in order to please the Advaitavadins, the non-dualists, the impersonalists, Sridhar Swami will say something which I will not quote. Jiva Goswami basically says, I'm not going to quote those things. That's not for us, but I will refer to him when he says appropriate things. So although there's some inconsistency, the Vaishnavas, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept his authority. So that's very, very interesting. Okay. Lord Chaitanya does say something very strong, and one could take it as insulting, but I think significantly he smiles when he says it, meaning he wants to also be friendly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smilingly replied, one who does not accept the Swami as an authority, I consider a prostitute. Those are pretty strong words, because the word Swami can mean husband. And so there's a play on words here. Sridhar Swami, if the wife doesn't accept the husband, that makes her a prostitute. If the Vaishnava doesn't accept Swami Sridhar as commentarial authority, that is a kind of something like being a prostitute, being disloyal. Okay, then. Okay, now typically Sridhar Swami writes rather short commentaries on the Bhagavatam. Most of what he writes are simply clarifying word meanings. He gives what's called a gloss. Means like an alternative word for the word in the verse. But he also adds some clarification and sometimes more than that. But here he's being very brief. I'm reading now the 2-sentence commentary of Sridhar Swami on the verse we are considering. Reads, quote, the friend who is, quote unquote, very old in the sense of being eternal without origin is the Supreme Lord. In accordance with the statement of revealed scripture beginning 2 birds, he addressed her with sweet words of consolation. Okay, now this pointing to revealed scripture, meaning Shruti, the 2 birds, Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu explains, this is a famous verse found in the Mundaka and the Shvetashvatara Upanishads. But it turns out this verse is also in the Rig Veda, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya Samanang Vrikshang Parishasvajate Tayor Anya Pipalang Svadvat Janashnan Anyo Abhichakashiti. The 2 friendly companion birds together reside on one tree. One of them is eating the tree's fruits, while the other does not eat, but simply watches his friend. So I think we've all heard this analogy before. And so Kshetra Swami is saying that this is what's being indicated by the verse in the Bhagavatam. So it's pointing back to the Upanishads and even to the Rig Veda. It says, and this is quoted by Jiva Goswami in the Tattva Sandarbha Vedartha Paribringhita. The Bhagavatam fulfills or completes the meaning of the Veda, Vedartha. Okay, so this is, according to the Vaishnavas, this verse is talking about the Lord accompanying the finite soul. That's us. And the tree here represents the heart. And then there's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, which is more than is longer than Kshetra Swami's commentary. But alas, here we are. It's already that time of day to proceed to other activities, other duties. Okay. Anandamayi is clarifying the crossing of the soul from the cosmic egg. Still not entirely clear to me. But let's see, Sita says, she's complimenting all the shishyas. How you're all sweet and really special. So thank you for that comment. And I think we'll end here. And I'll stop sharing the screen if I can figure out how to do that. Whoops. There we go. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for tolerating my somewhat disorganized presentation. And next week, as I mentioned in the beginning, all things, if Krishna allows, we'll have a surprise guest. Maybe I should reveal who it is. Maybe we should have a vote. Who likes to know in advance who we're gonna? Somya Karnis immediately. Yes, I want to know. Everybody wants to know. This surprise business. Nobody wants surprises. Okay. Well, I think most of you will not know him at all. He's a godbrother of mine, Yogendra Prabhu. He is lives in Sweden, North Sweden, I think now. Very nice devotee and just, I think, someone with a very thoughtful person who you'll appreciate. So please join us. You can also have others join, whoever. And we'll see you next week. Keep well, keep safe, keep sane. Sanity. Keep sane. And they used to say in America, don't accept any wooden nickels. I think that's specifically an American expression. Wooden nickel mean a nickel is a coin of small value, and a wooden nickel made of wood would mean that it actually doesn't have any value. So in other words, be careful and don't take something false for something real. Take the real thing, which is Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name, Harinama, Harinama, Harinameva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva Nastyeva Nastyeva, Gatir Anyata, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Guru Maharaj.
Guru
Maharaj ki jai.
Please keep well.
Brothers and
sisters, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much,
All
Guru
the
Maharaj.
Everything best and many
Krishna.
progress and many
Good
progress in the spiritual life.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.